Till the previous video, we talked about the first 5 steps of the algorithm to map ER model to relational model. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the 6th step of the algorithm to convert ER model to relational model, right? So the 6th step talks about mapping of multi-valued attributes, right? When we were mapping strong entity types or weak entity types or even relationship types, whenever we created a new relation, we always mapped or we always talked about how to map simple attributes, right, of the entity types or of relationship types, right? We never talked about multi-valued attributes. Example, while mapping department entity type into a relation, what we did, we created a new relation and included all the simple attributes of this relation, of this entity type in this new relation. That is name and number. These two are simple attributes, so we included these two simple attributes here. But we did not include locations attribute anywhere in the department relation, right? So we will deal with multi-valued attributes in this particular step. That is the 6th step of the procedure, right? So what we do with in order to deal with multi-valued attributes is we create a new relation for every multi-valued attribute, right? So whichever multi-valued attribute is there, what we do is we create a new relation for it, right? So create a new relation for this multi-valued attribute, right? And what will be we include in this new relation? First, we will include this attribute, right, or another attribute corresponding to this particular attribute or that represents this attribute, right? So the name can be changed. Let us say I say the name of the attribute is D location, okay, which represents the department location, right? So we have included this attribute in this new relation. Also, what we will do is we will include the primary key of the relation that this attribute is a part of as foreign key here, right? What I want to say is locations is a multi-valued attribute, and which entity type it is a part of, department entity type, right? So whichever relation corresponds to department entity type, include its primary key as foreign key there. So what is the primary key here? Number, that is the department number. So let us say I rename it as D number and I include it here. So what is this? This is the primary key of the relation that has this as an attribute, has this multi-valued attribute as a part of it, right? So include that primary key here as foreign key, right? So this refers to this particular attribute of department relation, right? That is the department number, right? So we have included this as foreign key and this is the multi-valued attribute location, right? So we have included this, and now what will happen, the primary key of this new relation will be a combination of these two, right? Why? Because department number will not be able to uniquely identify every tuple in this relation. Let us see how it will look like. Let us say department number 4 has 3 locations. Let us say any location, let us say America, or let us say it has Mumbai as well and it has Delhi as well. So department number will not be able to uniquely identify each tuple, right? And this is not bound to be a primary key, or it is not bound to be able to identify every tuple uniquely. So the combination of these two, or let us say some other department also has a location in Delhi. So this will also not be able to identify every tuple uniquely. So a combination of these two will be used as the primary key for this new relation, right? So the primary key will be the combination in all the cases. That is, the primary key will be the combination of multi-valued attribute and the foreign key, right? So that will be the primary key of this new relation that we have created for mapping of multi-valued attributes, right? So in case this multi-valued attribute is also composite. What is the meaning of composite? It is composed of other simple attributes, right? Let us say location is composed of other simple attributes. So what we do not include location as it is, we include its simple attributes, right? Or let us say we have a multi-valued attribute address, right? So address is a multi-valued attribute. I think it is not visible, right? So address is it is somewhat visible. So address is a multi-valued attribute. Let us say component attributes is street number and city and so on. So in order, if we want to map this multi-valued attribute into a relation, or we want to convert this multi-valued attribute into a relational model, what we will do, we will not write address as it is in this new relation. We will write all these attributes: street number, city, and whatever component attributes it had. Right, the same as we did when we were mapping normal composite attributes. Right, remember when we were mapping employee entity type, what we do, we did not include name as it is in this employee relation. We include the component attributes of this composite attribute called name. Right, similarly, if multi-valued attribute is also composite, what we will do, we will include the simple component attributes in the new relation. Right, so here in this case it is not a composite attribute, it is a simple attribute, so we included it like that only. So, right, so that is about mapping of multi-valued attribute. Now only last step is left. Okay, so last step talks about mapping of N-ary relationship types. Okay, mapping of N-ary relationship types, step number 7. Okay, so in case you remember, we talked in all the steps, we talked about binary relationship type. So what is a binary relationship type? A relationship type in which at most in which two participating entity types are there. Right, in case of N-ary relationship type, we call a relationship type as N-ary, where n is greater than 2. That is, it is not binary relationship type. N is greater than 2, which means that there are more than 2 participating entity types in that particular relation. Right, example is this relation, relationship type supply. Okay, so this is an N-ary relationship type. Why? Because there are 3 participating entity types: supplier, project, and part. Right, this relationship type has 3 participating entity types: supplier, project, and part. So this is an N-ary relationship type. It is not a binary relationship type, it is an N-ary relationship type. So the 7th step talks about how to convert N-ary relationship types into relational model. Right, so what we do for N-ary relationship types, since these 3 are strong entities, isn't it? Why? Because they are represented by single rectangle. Since these 3 are strong entities, the corresponding relations for these 3 would already be existing. Right, that is, there would be a relation for supplier, there would be another relation would already be existing for project, and other relation would already be existing for part. Right, so what this relation represents is a supplier supplies a part to a project. Right, am I making sense? Supplier supplies a part to a project. Right, this is the relationship type. Okay, or that is the meaning of relationship. So these 3 relations would already be existing corresponding to these 3 entity types in the relation when we would be mapping this entity types or strong entity types into relational model. Right, so these would be including these primary key attributes also: S name, and let's say project name, and let us say part number. Okay, so this would be already existing. So what we do in order to represent this relationship type supply, what we do, there may be other attributes as well. Right, here I have included just 3 attributes, or just I should say for every relation I have just represented the key attribute. Right, but there may be many attributes existing for every entity type here, and hence in every relation there may be many attributes. Right, so in order to represent N-ary relationship type, what we do is we again create a new relation. Right, for every N-ary relationship type we create a new relation. Right, we have created a new relation, and in this new relation what will we include? We will include as foreign key attributes in this new relation the primary key of the relations corresponding to the participating entity types. What I mean to say is, here the participating entity types in the supplier relation is project, supplier, and part. Right, so whatever primary key will be there for this participating entity types corresponding relations, that we will include in foreign key. Right, what I mean to say is, supplier corresponding relation is S name. Right, so corresponding relation is supplier. Right, so whichever is the primary key here, S name, we will include as foreign key in this relationship, in this relation. Right, another participating entity type is project. Right, so whatever relation is corresponding to this participating entity type, that is project relation, include its primary key as foreign key here, project name, right? And again there is this particular relationship type, participating entity type part. So whatever is the primary key for it, part number, include this as the foreign key in this new relationship. So this new, this new relation, right? So this new relation is for representing this N-ary relationship type. Let us say its name is supply. Okay, so these are included, the primary key of the participating entity types are included as foreign key in this new relation, right? So this will refer to here and here and here, because these are foreign keys, right? So this is how we create a new relation, and we include the primary key of the participating entity types, right? So and now the key for this new relation will be a combination of these three attributes, right? These three attributes, the combination of these three attributes would serve as the key for this new relation, right? What are these three attributes? The primary keys of the participating entity types, right? Also, in case there is any attribute here, include that too. In case there is any attribute that is present on the relationship type, include that too here. That is, include quantity here. New attribute is included, right? So now we are done with the conversion of converting this N-ary relationship type into relation, or we have converted this N-ary relationship type into relational model, right? So this is how we convert N-ary relationship type, and this is pretty much how we convert ER model to relational model. We discussed in 7 steps, right? So now let us talk about, or let us just have a summary of what all we learned throughout, or the steps in just brief, okay? How to do the conversion, right? Alright, so this table summarizes how can we map, or how we map ER model to relational model, right? For a given entity type, what we do in order to convert it into relational model, we convert it into entity relation. Example, when we were about to map employee entity type, in order to map employee entity type, what we did, we converted it into employee relation. The second step is, for 1:1 or 1:n relationship type in ER model, what we did, we use the foreign key approach. That is, we include the primary key of one relation as the foreign key in another relation, right? As a foreign key in another relation, right? Or we can also go with the relationship relation approach. We can create a separate relation and then include the primary key of both the relation as foreign key in and include the primary key of both the relation as a foreign key in this particular relation, right? Or that is, we create a new relation out of it, right? For M:n relationship type, what we do, we can just create a relationship relation, right? What we did, we create a new relation, and also there are 2 foreign keys. Which are the foreign keys? The foreign keys are nothing but the primary keys of the relations corresponding to the 2 participating entity types, right? They are included as foreign key in this new relation, right? Now let us talk about, now when we were mapping N-ary relationship type, what we do, we again created a new relation, and in this new relation we included the primary key of all the relations corresponding to all the participating entity types, right? In case of an N-ary relationship type, there are n participating entity types, and hence n relations corresponding to it, and hence n foreign keys, right? Because we are included the primary key of all the relations, right? Next is simple attribute. In case we have a simple attribute in ER model, what we do, just it is included as an attribute in one of the relations, right? Whichever entity type it is a part of, it is included in the corresponding relation as an attribute, right? In case of composite attribute, what we did, we included the set of simple component attributes. Example of this is the name attribute in the employee relation. What we did, we just included the 3 component attributes in the employee relation without having to include the composite attribute name, right? Now for multivalued attributes, what we did, we again created a new relation and included as foreign key the primary key of the relation which has that attribute as its part, right? For example, in case of location as a multivalued attribute, what we did, we created a new relation, and then in this new relation we included the location attribute and also the primary key of department relation. Why? Because location is an attribute of department entity type, right? Another one is value set. So value set was what? Value set was the set of values that every entity can take, right? and this is converted into domain. Domain also refers to the same thing, just the name is changed, right? So key attribute is converted to primary key. Or in case there are several, in case there are more than one key attributes in the ER model, what we did, we just chose one of them and just included that as primary key, or just choose that one of these key attributes as the primary key attribute of the new relation, right? So that is how we converted ER model to relational model. That's about the summary. So this topic is done, right? This is it for this video. I hope you like this. Then if you do, then please don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to my channel for more such videos, and press the notification bell so that you get notified every time I put up a new video. Share with your friends if you think they would find it useful. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.